How's it going, everyone? We are coming up on the release of what I would consider to be the first gigantic game release of many in 2025. Yeah, we had the release of Freedom Wars Remastered, but I think with Dynasty Warriors Origins, as far as big-scale game releases go, we're kicking it off in a big way, and I do really believe that Dynasty Warriors Origins is going to be an incredible gateway into the franchise for newcomers and those that have never played a Dynasty Warriors game. It is going to be an absolute spectacle of an action game, and before we get into some of the key information that you should know before you spend your $70, or if you buy the Deluxe Edition, which is $90, we'll go over each edition and everything like that, the pre-order bonus, all that stuff that you need to know before buying the game. I do want to note that if you are looking to buy this game on PC, our friends over at Fanatical have got the game 18% off for $57.39. This is a significant discount over buying the game directly on Steam, and you'll get a Steam key. It'll redeem directly on there, and you'll be good to go. They do have the digital Deluxe Edition on sale as well, 18% off for $73.79. The link will be in the description box below. If you do end up buying it, we do get an affiliate kickback, which is much appreciated. But as I mentioned, Dynasty Warriors Origins is looking to be a great gateway into the franchise, and obviously longtime fans of the series are going to have a great time with it as well. It's going to be an absolute spectacle of an over-the-top action game, and in terms of sheer scale and technical prowess, this does look to be the most impressive Dynasty Warriors game yet. The game has you taking the role of the fictional nameless hero in the Three Kingdoms era, and you'll be battling and become immersed in exhilarating battles as a nameless hero in the Three Kingdoms as noted. The game's general description notes the most exhilarating action in the series' history, tension-filled battlefields where you can clash against massive armies stretching as far as the eye can see. How will you handle the onslaught of enemies? Your military prowess will serve you as well as you fight in tandem with your allies in tactical battles unique to the Dynasty Warriors franchise and experience the most exhilarating action in the series' history. There's a bit of depth to the tactical nuance on top of having an enjoyable over-the-top action-heavy gameplay experience. That action-heavy gameplay experience is always what Dynasty Warriors has been built upon. It's an absolute spectacle to see it in action, but on top of that, there is a little bit of the tactical elements as well that make you think a little bit. A new version of the Three Kingdoms from the perspective of an original protagonist. The story of the Three Kingdoms is set in the vast mainland of China, where the convictions of different heroes will be intersecting. Experience this magnificent and alluring world through the eyes of the original protagonist, a nameless hero. And while you do have this nameless hero at the helm of the game, you will be seeing a wide variety of other characters. And on top of that, the other characters are going to have some depth to them with Bond events that are going to flesh out their characters. They actually detailed an entire Bond event gameplay video. In the game, you'll have the opportunities to form bonds with many of the officers that you meet. As you deepen your bond with them, events that reveal their thoughts and personalities will also occur. Directly experience the aspirations, thoughts, and emotions of the heroes and enjoy the rich story of the Three Kingdoms in Dynasty Warriors Origins. Remember that a Dynasty Warriors title is always going to be built upon the gameplay. However, before we get to that, they do have an introduction to the narrative of the game. That which is long divided must unify. That which is long unified must divide. The story takes place 150 years after the foundation of the Eastern Han Dynasty. Severe droughts and abnormal weather have caused devastating famines. People are starving, eating roots and tree bark, helplessly losing their lives. However, rather than helping them, rulers not only fail to extend a helping hand, but also impose heavy taxes, repeatedly commit embezzlement, and inflict suffering upon the people. The protagonist, who has lost his memories, arrives as a desolate village during his travels. There he encounters a long-haired man who helps the people with his companions, and a bearded hero who stands against the oppressive officials. In an attempt to save the child, the protagonist joins forces with them to battle the officials' troops. As the new year begins, a significant shift occurs. The Way of the Great Peace, which had gained immense support by helping the suffering people, turns against the Han Dynasty. They adopt a yellow cloth as a symbol of their unity and are henceforth known as the Yellow Turbans, a movement later referred to as the Yellow Turban Rebellion. That is the overview of the story going into the game. And obviously there will be a lot of twists and turns, but at the heart of a Dynasty Warriors game is going to be the spectacle of the gameplay. Walk your own path and become a true warrior. The protagonist has lost his memories, but his body still remembers how to fight to survive in the war-torn times. Further growth is essential. Only through countless battles and encounters will the path forward be revealed. Enter the battlefield, overwhelm your enemies with peerless offense and defense. You'll have basic actions. Mastering both the swift normal attacks and the powerful strong attacks which can break enemy blocks is fundamental to combat. You've got a variety of arts as well. Repeated attacks will increase bravery, which can then unleash arts. Each weapon type offers a variety of arts which are powerful and unique attacks. Assess the situation, whether you're facing a deadly enemy or surrounded by many soldiers, and deploy the most effective arts accordingly. Parry. It'll be difficult to survive on the battlefields if you focus solely on offense. Sometimes it's crucial to strengthen your defense. If you guard at the right moment of an enemy's attack, you can trigger a powerful counter called parry, leaving the enemy completely vulnerable. Evasion. Try to avoid attacks that can't be blocked with a guard. Look for weak points in the enemy's defense and seize the moment to counterattack. The reduction of fortitude. Against enemy officers, they are surrounded by protective energy known as fortitude. Reducing their fortitude will significantly weaken them and create opportunities for you to attack. You can decrease their fortitude by attacking their weak points or by utilizing your arts. Assault. Once you've reduced the enemy's fortitude and weakened them, you can activate an assault. This will cause massive damage and can sometimes be a decisive finishing strike as well. And then you'll have Musou attacks as well. Attacking enemies will fill the Musou gauge. When the gauge reaches a certain level, you can unleash a powerful strike known as the Musou attacks. And again, the spectacle of a gameplay is there, but there will also be a tactical element to a large-scale tactical battles that change the course of the battlefield. By using tactics, you can command surrounding allies to perform various actions such as advance or cavalry charge. Some tactics can trigger dramatic success when used in appropriate situations. Mastering these tactics can lead to even greater success. A large force. When a massive number of soldiers gather, a large force will be formed. The troops in a large force will have high morale and coordinate their attacks, making them a serious threat. You can severely weaken enemy troops by decreasing their fighting strength and breaking the large force. Then you have Grand Tactic. No matter if an enemy or ally, large forces can deploy Grand Tactics when activated. These tactics can dramatically shift the battle with intense group assaults as well. It's crucial to successfully execute your side's Grand Tactics while preventing the enemy's Grand Tactics from taking effect. The battle area is where forces clash. Battle areas where your force has the advantage are shown in blue, while those where you're at disadvantage are shown in red. If a battle area is red, your force may retreat unless you provide reinforcements or boost your allies' morale as well. Speaking of morale, a system of the game battles between forces are heavily influenced by morale. The higher your army's morale, the more advantageous your force will be in battle. Morale increases after you defeat enemy officers or capture bases, boost your morale, and lead your army to victory. Then you'll have duels on the battlefield. Duels with enemy officers may occur. Winning a duel will significantly boost your allies' morale, while losing it will cause heavy damage and lower allies' morale as well. The power of an individual can sometimes greatly influence the tide of battle. Eyes of the Sacred Bird. The Eyes of the Sacred Bird grants the protagonist the power to see the unseen. It'll reveal sources of sorcery and other battlefield information, helping the protagonist to gain an advantage during combat as well. Throughout the game, you'll master a wide variety of weapons and reach new heights. The protagonist can wield a variety of different weapons, from standard ones like sword and spear to more specialized ones such as gauntlets and the crescent blade. Mastering these weapons helps the protagonist reach a new rank and increase his abilities. Effectively using different weapons is key to the protagonist's growth. You've got swords, you've got spears, gauntlets, wheels, the staff, twin pikes, the lance, crescent blade, and padao as well, all available in the game, and all featuring a bit of a different gameplay style, so experiment with which one works for you the best, and decide which one to utilize in battle. Companions who join the protagonist on battlefields. Depending on the battlefield, you can choose companions to fight alongside you. By switching to these companions, you can directly control them and unleash their powerless power. Since the time you switch is limited, it'll be crucial to choose the right moments throughout. Experience the three kingdoms, explore the world map on your own feet as well. There's another element of the game outside of the direct battles where you'll explore the world map. The world map vividly represents the grand world of the three kingdoms. The protagonist will traverse the continent of his own feet and experience the story. There will not only be large-scale historical battles, but also missions to suppress rebellions or rescue government forces, and skirmishes against remnants of defeated armies or bandits. Throughout, you'll acquire weapons. When visiting towns on the world map, you can purchase weapons. These weapons come with various traits, and you might find some rare and valuable ones. Additionally, weapons can also be acquired during battle. Throughout the game, communication with officers. Throughout the journey, the protagonist will meet many officers. By interacting with them in towns or solving their requests and challenges, he can deepen their bonds. As these bonds strengthen, the protagonist will also become closer to the officers, and you'll choose your path. The protagonist will eventually face a pivotal choice. He must discern heroes who can bring order to the chaos and determine who he will walk with. In the end, he may even have to cross blades with those who once fought by his side. With the hero he chooses, the protagonist must be prepared to follow the path they believe in, no matter matter the cost. Again, all this information is from their official website as far as the key gameplay details and some of the aspects of the game. But if you want to make a decision for yourself, what I would recommend you to do is go play the free demo that is available on all platforms. You can download this on PC, PlayStation, or Xbox, and you'll be able to check out a portion of the game. You'll also be able to see how the game performs, but it looks like it's going to perform fairly well on PlayStation 5 as well as PlayStation 5 Pro. The game will be running at 60 frames per second on PS5, and it'll be running at that comfortably on PlayStation 5 Pro. You'll have enhanced options, and you can go for even higher frame rates. So that'll be available as well. The spectacle of a game like Dynasty Warriors Origins lends it to be enjoyed at 60 frames per second, so I would highly recommend that. But ultimately, you'll be able to decide that as well. I do also want to note the PC system requirements real quick. The Intel Core i5-8400 and Ryzen 5 2600 are the minimum CPUs. 12 gigabytes of RAM minimum. GPU is a GeForce GTX 1060 or an RX 590. The 590 is actually quite a bit better than the 1060, so we'll see how that turns out. It would be the RX 580 that would be more so in line with the 1060, but a 1060 is a very old GPU, so to see that at minimum is a little surprising. Recommended, on the other hand, is an i7 7700K, Ryzen 7 5700X, 16 gigs of RAM, and RTX 2070, and a 5700 XT, which is in line with what I would expect. Now, that is noted to be for 1080p and a frame rate of 60 FPS with the graphics quality set to high. If you're playing on a higher resolution, obviously the specification will need to be adjusted, and for minimum, that's based on a display resolution of 1080p and a frame rate of 30 FPS with the graphics set to low. It is also noted that the game will be playable on Steam Deck, so I find that quite fascinating. It just notes some of the in-game text is small and may be difficult to read. You will also have two versions of the game, the base game at $70 and the digital deluxe at $90. Again, Fanatical for a PC copy of the game, 18% off for the base game, and 18% off for the digital deluxe. Both editions of the game will include the pre-order bonus, protagonist costume, the Nameless Warrior garb, and a Wo Long Fallen Dynasty collaboration costume that can be worn in-game. The Nameless garb, again, will be available. Digital Deluxe Edition, the pre-order bonus will give you early access to the game, and it will provide access to the game 72 hours before the official release as well, so take that for what you will. It is what it is. Y'all already know how I feel about that. Not a big fan of this gimmick, and certainly not a fan of it being baked into Dynasty Warriors, but what can you do? You'll be able to play the game on January the 14th versus its January 17th release date. On top of that, if you do purchase early, you'll get the Early Work Soundtrack Collection, a soundtrack featuring a total of 191 original music tracks from the series, including background music from titles spanning from Dynasty Warriors 2 to Dynasty Warriors 5 Empires, as well as Omega Force's first title, Dynasty Warriors. The soundtrack can be played by accessing the main menu, special content, and then music, and selecting Early Work Soundtrack Collection. Quite a nice early purchase bonus. That's for anybody who pre-orders or purchases the game by January the 30th. The Digital Deluxe Edition, on top of having the early access, will have the official book and original soundtrack, the digital editions of those. The official book is full of original illustrations of major events in the Three Kingdoms period, along with never-before-seen information about characters and charts depicting their relationships with one another. The original soundtrack includes the 20 original tracks that have been arranged for this title as well. Letters are available as well, and they provide gold for buying things like weapons and portable items and creating gems. When you select new game and play through the story, the letters will be delivered to you at int, and the letters will be available in the Digital Deluxe Edition as well. So just in-game content, digital art book, and digital soundtrack, $90, so $20 extra, but discounted over at Fanatical. Not a big fan of the early access gimmick, but this is just something typical out of gaming these days, so it is what it is. But that is going to do it for me. Again, I really consider Dynasty Warriors Origins to be the first major game release of this year. I think the game looks great, and I think it'll be a great entry point for those of you that are going to be checking out Dynasty Warriors for the first time, and obviously longtime fans. From a spectacle action game standpoint, it's going to be a thrill ride. It is out January the 17th, January the 14th for early access, I believe, on PC. It'll be dropping at 6 p.m. Eastern, much like the Bandai Namco titles the previous day, so January the 13th and January the 16th. If you guys are familiar with that, y'all know how that shakes out. It's something that happens with some of these other games that do come out from Japanese publishers. They just come out the day prior on PC at 6 p.m. Eastern. But that'll do it for me. Let me know your excitement level for Dynasty Warriors Origins. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.